Well, the World Cup run is over for the Matildas, eliminated at the semi-final stage by England. 3-1 the final score. Disappointment for dub at the Cup. My name is Pellizzeri, joined by the captain of Adelaide United, Isabel Hodgson. Izzy, your initial feelings as Australia head to the third place playoff, not to the final, not the game we wanted, and unfortunately the dream of winning the trophy comes to an end.
It's heartbreaking, to be honest. I was really backing the girls in to win that, but what a fantastic run they had. But yeah, I'm honestly devastated.
Tell us about the night you had. I can see you wearing the Tilly Time hat and you've got the shirt on. Where were you in the stadium and what was the experience like over the course of the 90 minutes for you?
Yeah, look, I was actually behind the goal that Kerr scored at, so that was a fantastic moment. What a goal, and that got all our hopes up that we were back in that game. But look, the atmosphere is great, and even when the girls were down, the crowd was still with them, and all the way to the end and after the game, the crowd was still there and proud of the girls for the effort that they had.
75,000 tonight, and it was loud. I mean, even compared to when Australia was coming back against Nigeria, this was another level. Just take us through the moment that Sam Kerr lined it up and had a go and scored probably the goal of the tournament.
Yeah, wasn't it a fantastic goal? Look, as soon as you get a ball in behind with Kerr, everyone's up on their feet and they're watching it. They're out of their seats. So, I just thought she's going to score this, and then she just hit it, and I thought, this is it. We're back in this game. It's 1-1, and I thought we were going to win it. I thought that was it. I thought that was through, and a couple of chances after that, and I was really looking forward to it. But if you go two goals down to a team like England, there's no coming back from that.
Now, you've been to quite a few of the Matildas games. You've also seen England a couple of times. Where do you think it went wrong for Australia tonight? We'll get to talking about the individual goals in isolation, but broadly speaking, what was missing to get Australia through tonight?
Look, I think our first half just wasn't good enough. I think the girls could see that. I don't think we were as sharp as we hoped to be. I think our wingers weren't isolated and they didn't really get to do what they do. Like Ford and Rasso are fantastic on the ball and running at defenders, and you didn't really see that in the first half. But good for them. They came out second half a lot better, a lot stronger, but if you give England a sniff at goal, they're going to put it away, and we gave them too much.
The tempo of the game was so strange. Normally we're used to Australia exploding out of the blocks and sort of zoomies and attacking the defence in that first 5 to 10 minutes. There was none of that tonight, and I actually turned to the people sitting next to me in the press area at the 15-minute mark saying, both teams are playing like this is going 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Why do you think, was it purely a fatigue thing or a mental thing, or was it England managing the game that meant that this one did not get off to a cracking start?
Yeah, you're right. I think we didn't come out of that gate flying like we normally do and like we've seen before. Maybe it was a fact that Aussies were just trying to work out what England were doing. And, after that first 15 minutes, I think it was 120 passes for England and 35 for Australia, which is just unheard of. Usually we control those games. So I think we maybe just struggled to get the ball down and play. But, we saw that and they got a goal, but good for them. Second half they came out and they really tried to change that, but yeah, not a great start.
England really looked to target one of Australia's great strengths. I thought they had a lot of joy through the right side. That was supposed to be where, really, I thought Catley and Ford were going to take over this match, and instead England were the ones countering and pinning Australia back, and even though Ellie Carpenter could get forward down the right, we just didn't see Steph Catley get forward in that first half down the left very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, our strong points just weren't there. Like Catley and Ford, and also Ford in her last game, fantastic. And like I said earlier, we just weren't getting her on the ball, and she wasn't attacking our defenders. And England's defence and Lucy Bronze on that right side, I think she really caused us some struggle, and you could see that in the game. We weren't getting forward, we weren't attacking that right wing.
So let's go to the first goal, because up until that point the game had been meandering somewhat, and then it was just a couple of nice touches and a great finish from Toon, a moment of class. But I thought, I don't know, is that loose checking from the Australia defence, or were you willing to put your hands up, especially given that you're a defender yourself, and say, not much we could do about that one?
Yeah, look, I think we were defending the box quite well, but it did fall perfectly for Toon, and what a class finish, top corner. Not much Mackenzie Arnold could do about that, but look, I think it's a bit of maybe we should have been marking better, but also I think it was quite lucky where the ball fell for her, and look, she made no mistakes and put that in the top corner.
So half-time, I thought Gorry had a great first half. Cooney Cross probably didn't show a great deal until after we conceded, but then she had a couple of nice moments, a through ball and a run that we've become used to seeing. And that started to manifest a little bit more in the second half. But with that said, the goal was still kind of, those are the moments of magic we see Kerr score those goals in WSL games and FA Cup ties for Chelsea, and those are good enough to win leagues and win cup finals for Chelsea. And gee, didn't it feel like she was about to win us this massive match, a semi-final?
Absolutely. Like I said, when that ball went in, I thought, this is it, we've won the game, we're going to keep going. And what a world-class ball and what a world-class finish. You know, that's a great goalkeeper in goals and great defenders chasing Kerr, and she was cool, calm and collective and put that in a great finish.
Now, Ellie Carpenter was a junior national team teammate of yours. You've obviously played against her on a number of occasions in the A-League Women's. How do you think she's feeling right now about the way Australia conceded the second goal?
Look, Ellie is a professional and she's a fantastic player, and I think she's going to be a bit upset with herself about that kind of mistake. It's not something you see Ellie do, but look, she didn't let it rattle her. She came back out after that and she kept fighting and she kept working, but you know, she's had a great tournament, and you'd hate to see her hold on to that as, you know, a summary of her tournament, but she's going to be a bit hard on herself. But I'm really glad that she turned it around and kept working after that mistake.
What was the reaction? Because this obviously happened down the opposite end to where you were sitting. So when you see that diagonal ball find its way into that contest and it's just bobbling around and it's not being cleared and what's going on, talk us through your response to how that somehow ended up in the back of the net.
To be honest, I saw it, you know, the diagonal ball, and I saw Ellie there, and Ellie had her body between the England player and the ball, and I thought, Ellie's got this all day. You know, I put my house on Ellie to always be the better defender. And, you know, unfortunately, I had to rewatch it on the screen to get a close-up to kind of see what went wrong, because I thought Ellie was there. But as you watch it, you know, legs are flying, a ball's flying, and it just went past her. And England were really, really great in finishing that ball. But, yeah, I had to kind of look on the big screen because I couldn't quite see what was happening from where I was.
Now, Australia turned to the bench, and they had to, because Hayley Razzo had looked a bit leggy and a bit tired for a lot of the game. Courtney Vine comes on, and Australia's best chance that they created in the second half was the one where Vine's come in from the right side. And we've seen that finish in the A-League Women's plenty of times. She gets the angle spot on into the bottom left corner. But what a great save by Mary Earps.
What a fantastic save, and so unfortunate that A, that one didn't go in, and B, we didn't have anyone there to follow it up. I think there was someone close, not sure who it was, and they were almost too far.
Yeah, it might have been Van Egmond was on by that point, I think,
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, it was there. And but I think Courtney came on, did fantastic. She took that game on, and she went down that right-hand side and was like, I'm going to beat you for pace and put this ball in, which we've seen her do in the A-League, so it was fantastic.
Are you happy that she plays on the opposite flank in the A-League, and now that we know she's coming back to Sydney FC, unless she switches flanks or unless you have to switch flanks, you're not going to have to defend too much against her this coming season?
Me and the other Hodgson, obviously, she plays left, I play right, and each time, you know, she's got Vine, I've got Princess Abini, so I don't know who you'd rather. They're both fantastic players, but yeah, look, it is great to know that she's, you know, not with us, but not on my side, but yeah, it was fantastic. She's been fantastic.
Now, the third goal, before then, Australia had some good chances. The Vine one, but then also the Kerr one, off the corner. It's fallen to Sam Kerr. Again, we see those end up in the back of the net. And I think the look on her face just summed up her level of surprise. You're there behind the goal. Again, talk us through your response in that moment. Did you think it was in?
I did. From where I was, I had a clear straight view of Sam and the open top corner that I thought that volley was going, and it's just gone wide. And then, you know, football hurts, and then they go on the other end and they score a goal, and that's just what happens. But I really thought that was in the back of the net, and you could see from Kerr's face that I think she thought the same thing.
Now, no one's going to say sub off Steph Catley, but Catley was exhausted by the time she's chasing Russo, and Russo's outpacing her, running onto that through ball. Hempu scored the second goal, then lays off the assist for the third. And it's a good finish by Russo, but you could tell Steph Catley is not normally, I mean, they'll be Arsenal teammates this WSL season, but Catley is not normally outpaced by a player like Russo in that instance. And I think at the end of the night, England hitting on the counter was always going to be one of the risks we faced.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, when you're down and it's 2-1 and, you know, you're a fullback, you think, well, I'm just going to go forward. I need to get a goal. So you could see that she was exhorting herself going forward, and maybe that lacked her defensive error. But yeah, look, that what a bowl through as well. Like that sneaky back pass, it was fantastic, and what a finish. You know, down the other end, Courtney's was saved, and hers goes in the back of the net. So kudos to that.
What was the prevailing sentiment among the fans you were sitting with at full time?
Look, I think everyone was heartbroken and devastated that we lost, but I think we're also proud of what they have achieved. It's been a fantastic World Cup for them, and look, England are a fantastic team, and I think I'm just so proud of what they've done, and it's fantastic for women's football and women's sport in general in Australia.
I don't want to uncork a can of worms. This is probably best saved for the chats that this podcast will have on the 2 rest days coming up. But has Australia done two... Yes, England did win. Has Australia done too well in this tournament to really learn from their shortcomings that have ended up maybe costing us a spot in the final?
Oh, it's a tough question.
That's what I specialise in, because
Yeah.
I think this is the discussion we need to have. We want to win the World Cup. I mean, it's great that we made a semi-final, and it will have changed the game in this country. But I'm not sure we're going to get a better chance to win a World Cup for a long time.
Yeah, look, you're right. Look, we have fallen short,
we have
and that's
written
tough.
this out incredibly well.
There's people behind us.
Hopefully, what was said behind us has not made it onto air, codes of practice and all that. But
Still more people.
I will let you answer the question now that we don't have people shouting over our shoulder.
Yeah, look, it's tough. Look, we didn't make it, and maybe there's things we could have done better. But look, I'm so proud of the girls, and I think maybe this is, people might think this is our only chance to win the World Cup, but I think this is a good stepping stone for us, and I think we can build on this, and we can build to the better one next year.
Yeah, I mean,
World Cup.
well, yeah, in the Olympics, so obviously assuming we qualify, but then the next World Cup as well.
Next World Cup, yep.
I suppose the third place playoff is coming up. Do you think that the players we haven't seen in this tournament, Wheeler, Nevin, Lewick, Chidiac only got 2 minutes off the bench tonight, sparingly used subs, do you think we'll rotate and we'll give them a chance to play? Or, I mean, coach's hat on, do you think Tony G is focused on winning that third place playoff? Because, of course, we did lose out on the bronze medal to the United States at the Olympics, and I'm sure he would love to finish on the podium.
Yeah, I think it's about winning the game, and Tony's going to put on the 11 players that he thinks going to do that. If the 11 who've been playing are tired and fatigued and need to be subbed out, I think he'll do it, but he's there to win the game. I'd personally love to see, Charlie Grant get a go, or Alex Chidiac get more of a go, and some of those girls who have been sitting on the bench, I would love to see him get more of a go, but look, we're here to win things, and third place, it's still a podium.
Well, to be fair, I think you can be here to win things and still play Charlie Grant. As
Yeah,
well.
it's very true. I agree, as I'm wearing a Charlie Grant shirt.
I do feel a little bit sorry for her that she spent a gap year deputising for Ellie Carpenter, and the only time we've seen her is as the victory cigar against Canada. So, I mean, as far as those players, obviously when you pick a World Cup squad, you want to be harmonious. You don't want your subs being openly disruptive and agitating to play. You want them to still train and do it sincerely in a way that helps the collective. But surely now is the time for us to give some game time to some of these sparingly used players, even if it's subbing them on a little bit earlier in the game.
I'd love to see Charlie get a run. I'm obviously repping her shirt. Love her, great friend of mine, and she did fantastically for Ellie Carpenter when Ellie was out. But when you play right back and you're trying to compete against one of the best right backs in the world of Ellie, you're going to sit a little bit more time on the bench than others. But I would love to see some of those girls get a run. But I think what's most important is that we get that win and we still show that we have that winning mentality.
It's kind of a funny thing, because I feel as though had Australia won a bronze medal, in terms of convincing governments to fund the game more, it would have made that much more of a difference than fourth place.
Absolutely.
So I think let's not underestimate the value of finishing third in this tournament, because for people who've jumped on the bandwagon and are learning the game and are joining us on this journey, I think it means a lot more, because most people look at a third place playoff and think, But, I mean, this one, it could have underrated amount of value for Australia to actually win the game.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the Olympics third place, maybe that changes things for us. But yeah, it's still very important to try and win as many games as possible on the national stage. So third place at the World Cup, look, it's better than fourth. Let's go out and win it.
All right, that's the Matildas. Any other thoughts on the Matildas before we move on to talking about the World Cup final? Yeah, remember that game coming up in the stadium behind us here on Sunday. Any other thoughts on the Matildas, though, as they don't end their journey, but they end their attempts to win the trophy?
Look, I think we're proud of them, and Footballing Nation, we're really happy for them. But everyone's still devastated. But I hope this is the start of something great for the Matildas, and we keep pushing forward and we keep reaching to greater things.
All right, the final. Who do you like, Spain or England, and why?
I'm going to go with England. I did say at the start of the World Cup that obviously I want Australia to win, but if not, I'll go for England. It's maybe a bit easier if you lose to the team that wins the World Cup, so I'm gonna back England in.
What do you think makes them the team you're picking for the final?
I think they've come off winning the Euros. They have that winning mentality. They've played in that big game recently. I think watching them play tonight, they were cool, calm and collective, and they played very well. And I think they've been like that all this whole World Cup. So yeah, I think it's them.
You've been travelling around the country and you're used to that as an A-League women's player as well, travelling every second week. Do you think it matters that Spain has spent the entire tournament in New Zealand and only comes to Australia for the first time for the final?
Yeah, maybe that gives England a bit of an edge. Not sure, longer flight, I guess. But yeah, look, it is tough, but it's all about the fans that fill the stadium, and I think the Spanish fans they'll be loud and proud, but I also think the England fans will be there as well. So
who's going to be the neutrals' favourite? Because it is going to be hard for a lot of Australians to turn around and support England, but anyone who's on women's football social media or has, followed the game prior to this tournament will know that Spain are kind of the culture war team at the moment with what's going on with the federation, the way the coaches run the team. Look, I love the way they play the football, and I can kind of hold my nose with regards to the mismanagement of the players and the ones that came back from the strike and what have you.
Yeah.
But do you feel as though there's actually going to be a bit of a divide in sentiment, people who don't want England to win versus the people who don't want Spain to be rewarded for how their nation has run women's football?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably part of the reason that I'm backing in England. Plus, it's a female coach, and I think that's fantastic that a female coach has led a team to the World Cup final. But I think it's going to be hard for Australians to turn around and start going for England after a game like tonight. Like, they've just broken our hearts out there, and it's hard to turn around and support them. But
it sure is, yeah.
Maybe after a couple of nights sleep, I'll feel a bit better about supporting England.
Well, just on the point you make about Serena Wiegmann, only 4 women's coaches made it through to the round of 16. She was the last one standing by the quarterfinal. She is 1 game away from adding a World Cup to 2 Euros. By how far is Serena Wiegmann the best coach in the women's game in the world?
She's got to be close to being that, doesn't she? And what amazing
she is.
thing.
I'm asking how far back is second?
Oh,
that's what I'm asking, yeah.
Literally, I don't even know. I think she's just been fantastic for England, and what a great role model for women coaches around the world. And look, if that's a positive we could take out of losing tonight, is that she's done fantastic things for that team.
I mean, is there a risk that the United States headhunts Tony Gustafsson? He was their assistant coach. They know him well. And there's certainly been a groundswell of support for the way he has run things. Do you think if the United States came in for him, he would want to take Australia to the Olympics because of his connection to the group and also his sense of wanting to finish the job, or is the US just too good to turn down?
Oh, look, I think if I was him, and if I know anything about the little I do know about him, would be that I think he would stay with Australia. I think we've got a great culture as a nation and as that team. I think you'd stay with that. And look, we got further than USA did, so I'd back us in.
Hey, remember them? Yeah.
Yeah, who?
All right, so speaking of great culture, there is a great culture at the A-League Women's because you get to meet players over the fence, get selfies, autographs like Isabel Hodgson, and if you want to get to the games and you're 16 years or younger, you can go for free, keepup.com.au/LAP for the Liberty A-League Pass. That's keepup.com.au/LAP. How much are you looking forward to the season? How much is going to so many World Cup games and seeing them in your backyard at Hindmarsh Stadium motivated you for the coming summer?
Oh, I can't wait. I think seeing such great football in your backyard, you just can't wait to be out there playing it. So I'm really looking forward to it, counting down the days. But yeah, especially seeing the flood of people at Hindmarsh at Cooper Stadium, and I hope that the same thing happens for the A-League.
And you've come along as a fan tonight. You, as you said, repping Charlie Grant, but you're on the other side of the fence. You're the player, and you know the profound effect it can have on young boys and girls, people who are either getting into the game for the first time or people who are football mad that just want to find a role model to follow. How much more valuable is it now that you've seen the volume of support that's out there and the people that might be coming along to cheer for you this summer?
Yeah, look, I've always I really appreciated all of the support that we have, and I've always really strived to be the greatest role model possible. I think we have such a platform now that we never used to have, especially when I was young and growing up. I didn't get to go watch women play football or throw my jersey over the fence. So every time there's an opportunity to, make a girl's dream come true or a little boy's, it's fantastic. And I think the Matildas have done that tonight to many Australians, and I hope the A-League can do it as well.
And just last one, on the pitch, how do you reckon Adelaide's going to go? Because missed the finals last season, you had that amazing breakthrough campaign the year before. how hungry are you to get back towards the top of the ladder again?
I think we're hungrier than ever, and I think we know that it's not going to come easy and we're going to work hard for it, but I'm very confident in us and in the team that is being built, and finals for sure.
Well, I want to say, Izzy, you're a true pro because we've had some very interesting stuff shouted over our shoulder as the fans have left the ground tonight. And we do apologise for our live viewers. We'll see what massaging we can do for the podcast. Don't forget, you can continue following KEEPUP's coverage of the World Cup at keepup.com.au. Subscribe to the podcast in Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I keep saying iTunes. I am so old. And also, don't forget to follow KEEPUP on all the social media as well as we count down to the Matildas against Sweden in the third place playoff and the World Cup final between England and Spain. Izzy Hodgson, thanks so much.
Thanks
and a pleasure having you on Dub at the Cup.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
My name is Pellizzeri. Remember to subscribe to that podcast and we will be back with Dub at the Cup on the rest days through to the third place playoff.